Hey, good morning everybody. Welcome to week 6, otherwise known as midterm exam week. Dr. Bob here, and I'm going to give you the lowdown on the midterm exam. So hopefully I won't go over the 5 minutes, but I may. Okay, so real quickly, there are 4 questions on the exam. Okay, and you get to choose one of those 4 questions. Now the 4 questions are this. Question 1, what is sociology and what is the sociological imagination? Remember, that's the work of C. Wright Mills. So you recall most of this was in chapter 1, some of it in chapter 2 as well. It's the idea of how sociologists look at the world. I told you that when I was a child, going on the bus with my mom, I was a very little kid, maybe 3 or 4 years old, and this was Cleveland, Ohio. And yet, as blacks would get on the bus, the driver would say, back of the bus, and they would go. And I would question my mother about it, who would tell me, shh, be quiet. And other things, that the way that I saw the world, right, was perhaps different than the way others might see the world. So that's the sociological imagination, okay? That's question 1. And again, you pick one of 4, so whichever one you want to go with. Question 2 is about the social construction of deviance. In other words, how and why society says something is deviant, something is not deviant. This is the punishment for it, whether it's just, it's something formal, a formal sanction like a mores, a law, against like rape, robbery, murder, these kind of things, or is it a sanction, for example, if somebody farts in an elevator, right? Well, it's not against the law, but again, you may not associate with that person too well or even stand too close to them, right? And so that's how society constructs what, for example, is something illegal because it's bad, or is it bad because it's illegal, right? And so that's question 2. Question 3 is about the 3 major sociological perspectives. You'll recall the first 2, functionalism and conflict theory. They both came out, basically the work of the Industrial Revolution. That's the birth of sociology. These are major concepts. Functionalism is probably the earliest. It's the idea that there's large groups in society, that society is much like the living body, right? They borrowed a lot of their theory from the natural sciences at the time. Sociology, again, this is just in the birth of sociology. So, and these groups, like institutions primarily, they all work together for the betterment of society, right? That's conflict theory, or I'm sorry, that's functionalism in a nutshell. The other one is conflict theory, right? The work of Karl Marx primarily. The idea that, yeah, there's large groups in society, but they're not working together. They work in opposition to each other, right? Those with wealth, power, and status in society, they make all the rules, and those rules favor them and hurt those who don't have the wealth, the power, and the status, right? That's conflict theory, excuse me. And those 2, again, they're major sociological perspectives. Symbolic interactionism, which is the 3rd one of the 3 major sociological perspectives, is more of a micro-meso perspective. It looks at the world and says, everything is a symbol of something out there, but it may not mean the same to everybody. For example, the argument over the Confederate flag, for example. What is the meaning behind it? Is it, well, it depends. If you're African American, it probably means things like slavery, subjugation, lynching, rapes, murders, horrible things, right? But to others who say, I don't know, the flag, the Confederate flag is a sign of Southern pride, this sort of thing. So, and again, the way we learn the different meanings from each other is through social interaction. So that's the 3 major sociological perspectives, and that's question 3. Question 4 is to design a research project using the 8 research steps, right? You recall those. Again, use your learning materials, look at the chapters, see what if you're going to answer this question, see what those 8 steps are. So those are the questions on the midterm exam. Pick one. You may see I have my basketball jersey on. November is coming up, and that's basketball season. I'm a big UNLV Rebels fan. I hope they have a great season this year. Okay, but UCLA looks pretty good too, as always, right? Go John Wooden. Okay. What I'll be looking for in the exam is your use of the learning materials, right? Something you may have submitted during the discussion board, you can use that again, right? That's the whole point of the discussion board. Not the whole point, but a point of the discussion board is for you to use the reading materials, the learning materials, the PowerPoints, all these things to gain an understanding of the concepts, right? And that's what we're looking for. Have you used the concepts? Did you use them correctly? Those kind of things. Be sure you look at the instructions carefully, look over the rubric carefully before you hit that submit button, right? It is due November 4th, that's Sunday, right? This week there's no quiz, there's no discussion board, just this midterm exam. Okay, let's see. Let me make sure I've covered everything. Okay, so I've just gone over a little bit of 5 minutes. The final thing I want to say is do not email it to me. I cannot accept your midterm exam if you email it to me, right? Unless I tell you otherwise. Send it through Canvas, and here's why. Because through Canvas, I have various tools I can use. They check for things like plagiarism, right? And other things, grammar, those kind of things. The other reason why I use Canvas is that's the way I have to grade your exam, okay, is through Canvas. So that's it. If you have any questions, as always, go ahead and hit me up, send me an email, and I'll get back right to you as soon as I can. Otherwise, good luck on the exam this week, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye.